Oh, perfect. That was the sound there of Dua Lipa and Don't Start Now. Or, yeah, okay, well, we won't start, but we are, obviously. On the line just now, we have got Josh. Josh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Liz. How are you?
Good. I'm good, yeah, I'm great. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you for asking. So, you are Josh Connor and you stay in the lovely Riviera side of East Lothian, if you like. You stay in Gullen, is
Yep,
that right?
I do. Yes, I stay in Gullen. I grew up here was here from about the age of 5 or 6 to about 19. Yeah.
So you must only be about, what, 21, 22 now?
I'm 27 actually. I'm
Wow.
27. Yeah, yeah. I'm getting on a bit.
Never, never. So you sort of come to us like to talk about kids football, sort of grassroots type football and that. Because I
Yeah.
believe that you were, or you told me this, that you were over in California for 8 years, coaching kids over there. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, I was. I went over there at about the age of 19 to go pursue coaching football as kind of like a career, so to speak, and it was with kids. So yeah, I was out there for 8 years of my life, and I just moved back here last June 2020.
Wow, that's amazing. That it's. Are you? Was it sort of? Were you teaching them football or were you teaching them American football?
No, like proper football. It was just like kids age between the age of about 5 or 6 all the way through to about 18. Just kind of working at a club and yeah, doing that pretty much 7 days a week. When the season was on, so it was a really good experience and really rewarding, to work with kids, especially the young ones, and to kind of have a team for 2-3 years and see how they kind of develop, not just as kids but as people. It was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, it must have been, especially if you've been there and you had maybe say a child from like when you first went there and then to see them when you left, how their skills had developed and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it was always, the kids that maybe struggled for a little bit, and then they kind of go on to be the kids that kind of stand out or improve. That's always the best, and you see the kids get that confidence and kind of start to go on, and the parents kind of tell you that it is transcending into not just football but other side of their life in school and stuff.
Yeah.
That was always the coolest thing. That was kind of the thing that made me enjoy doing the job so much.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people think, oh, it's just football coaching, but you're actually sort of giving them life skills as well. You're teaching them like discipline, but you're also teaching them, you're giving them confidence to shine at other things and excel at other things and academically and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on. When I first went out there, I first got into it, 18, 19 years old, you don't think of that side of things because you're young yourself. You think you're just going to coach football, but as you get into it, you're a role model for those kids. And it's important that, you do the right thing by them every time you show up. Because like you say, you're not just teaching them football, you're teaching them life. And I grew up, having coaches be role models for me. So I kind of was fortunate in that spot and was able to, hopefully be that for all the kids that I coached out in the States for 8 years. Yeah.
Did you find it was quite sort of strange for you being close in age to some of them, being like their mentor, if you like, and being so close in age to them? Did you find that was a bit strange, or did you find it was easier being, that close to them age-wise?
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good question because I coached the high school team for the whole 8 years I was out there. So like I say, when I first got there, I was 18, 19. So the oldest kids in the team at the time would have been 17, 18 years old. Mm-hmm. So they were only a year or two younger than me. So that was the first time I'd ever kind of was the coach to people, like you say, that were my age. And it's definitely different. You have to find that line of being almost like a friend to them, but at the same time having them respect you too.
Yeah.
And understanding that you are the coach. But again, that's just another life skill that I learned, how to deal with those situations. But it's definitely different doing it when they're closer in age to you than it is obviously the little ones.
Yeah, because the wee ones are like, they'll look up to you like you're an authority figure, so they've got to listen to you, whereas the older ones maybe sort of push that boundary slightly, to see how far they can go with you before it's like, you say enough's enough.
Exactly, and I think for the funny thing about coaching the little ones is they'll tell you the truth about things too, because that's just how kids are. So
Yeah.
you get a good bit of you get some good honest feedback from the kids about your sessions or what you're doing. So you kind of have to take that into account as a coach too, and actually take it on board, because most of the time they're actually right with what they're saying.
Right, yeah, that's right. And as you say, the older ones will just say, yes, aye, you're fine, or no, you're horrible, or whatever. But as you say,
Exactly.
your younger ones, you're getting more honesty out of them. So you moved back here, as you say, last year. What a time to move
Yeah.
back.
I know. It was all planned before the whole COVID thing hit, and then obviously it got moved back. It got moved closer a few months up than I was originally planning on coming back. So yeah, it's been an interesting last year for everyone.
Yeah, did you find it strange coming back to the UK with like all these COVID restrictions? Because I think were they not a wee bit sort of more relaxed in America?
Yeah, it was a little bit more relaxed in the States for sure, where I was in California, and they're kind of back to somewhat normal from speaking to my friends there. So, obviously things opened up a little bit here again in the summer, so that was fantastic. I got to hang out with my mates and kind of do a bit of socializing. But yeah, it's been and Gullen's a great place. It's nice, it's beautiful. I'm lucky to be here and walk around in COVID and, go down the beach and everything. But being 27 years old, it can get a little bit boring with nothing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine it would be, especially sort of. Is this the reason that you're doing now? You're actually doing podcasts, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So is that what's causing it? Because you're bored?
Yeah, that is definitely part of it. From the time of March when we went into lockdown in the States to June when I moved back, I obviously wasn't working, so I had a lot of time to really think about what I was going to do for coming home. And doing a podcast was something that kind of I've been thinking about for a while, and to kind of come at it from a coaching point of view, because I've had that experience, as well as just talking about kind of your kind of day-to-day, week-to-week football stuff. And if it wasn't for my little brother Matthew and my two good friends Greg and Scott, who kind of helped me, just do the first couple of episodes and just kind of give it a shot, I got the ball rolling on it, and I've just been really enjoying it, and I've just started to kind of speak to some coaches, and my last one I just did last week was with the Gullen Athletic guys that run the football program here, and that was nice, because obviously growing up in Gullen, and seeing these guys give something back to the community is really cool. So it's been enjoyable so far.
Good, that's good. So what would you say to anybody that's sort of thinking, I don't know if I want to send my son to sort of football or anything like that? Would you encourage them 100% to send their wee ones?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's important. I think sport, like we've said, at the beginning of this, like, sport is more than just them going there for the sport. If you have the right people looking after your kids, they get some great life lessons, some great skills. You socialize, you make new friends, and certainly as they get older and they become a bit more independent, and they can be part of a team, and that, learning how to work as a group and working hard for other people is massive. So not just football. If people, you have young kids, get them involved in every sport, and have them try out 3, 4, 5 different sports. There's nothing wrong with that, and see what. The most important thing is, what does your kid like? Don't force something upon them. Like, what are they reacting to well? What are they saying they're enjoying? And just make sure you continue to encourage that, I would say, as a parent.
Yeah, definitely. My granddaughter actually goes to football in Gullen. She goes. She's 6, and she goes to she goes to football there, and she absolutely loves it. She thinks it's the best thing ever. She absolutely loves playing football.
Fantastic.
We keep saying she should have been a boy.
yeah.
But there is a lot of various different clubs and that, all sort of around East Lothian and beyond, obviously, that are doing things like that. They're still sort of, but because of COVID, do you find that they've sort of shut some of it down just now, or is it still on the go?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, certainly from a Gullen perspective, and I've done a little bit of coaching since I've come back here for other people, certainly up in Edinburgh and everything, yeah, there's not been a lot going on since, before Christmas, which is unfortunate. The kids aren't getting to go out and do that stuff, but it sounds like it's all slowly starting to open back up again. So I would expect in the next month or so, hopefully, the sports can come back and the kids can get back out there and get to their football or their rugby or whatever it may be and get outside again and start playing again.
Yeah, because it's good for them, obviously, fresh air and things like that. And
oh, yeah.
So going back to your podcasts, what are you been talking about on your podcast lately? And where can we find them, more importantly?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll answer the first question. So I kind of just started with talking with my close friends about the kind of weekly football that's going on to get going. And then that kind of slowly progressed into speaking to coaches, about their journey through coaching and what they learned and the kind of path that they've gone down. Because I think it's important for people to understand that if you want to be a coach, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. It's like anything, it's extremely difficult to go on and coach in the Premier League or the SPL. But there's so many different avenues you can go down in football. And I think that one of the things about the podcast and speaking to coaches I want to do is have them understand that there's more than one way. And also for kids like me who are 16 years old that loved football and knew I was not going to make it at any level, to know that there's a pathway to still be involved in it, whether it be through coaching or, I've got a friend that's at Dundee United who does some like performance analysis stuff. That stuff's becoming quite big. So there's a lot of different avenues. And I guess that where I'm going with the podcast now is trying to take it, down that pathway so people can listen and also for parents to, hear stories and hear about these people that they're taking their kids to and get to know them as a person more, And with regards to where it all is, I mean, it's on Instagram and it's called Canon Conversations, CANNON, and then Conversations. The Insta is the one I probably update the most. I've also got a Twitter page for it. And then with regards to Facebook, I just kind of post it on my own Facebook, which is Josh Cannon. And I've got a YouTube channel as well. So I record it, I do a video, and I also do audio for Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the podcast apps. So it's on all the usual stuff you would expect to see it.
So it's just a case of searching for Josh Cannon somewhere. You'll find him.
Yeah. Cannon Conversations is probably the best thing to do on YouTube and Instagram. And you'll be able to see the Insta page and the YouTube and the Twitter page and all that stuff there.
It's quite handy that how everything sort of links up now, and social media.
Yeah.
You've got like, for me, it's like I've got my Instagram, my Snapchat and all that all linked up. My TikTok's linked into it, things like that. It's good how you can do that now, whereas years ago it just wouldn't have even been thought about being able to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, I was very fortunate for the last 18 months of my time in California. I worked with my cousin who started up like his own football training company, like one-on-one privates and camps. So, I got that experience of building a brand, through social media and obviously through the coaching. I had a bit of experience doing that. And it's, like you say, the internet and social media can be used for a lot of things. And it's an opportunity for myself being able to try and do something like this, or you with, being on the radio, being able to promote it. It's really good. I think the hardest thing for me is to detach yourself from all the usual stuff, like how many views did it get, how many likes did you get. You kind of have to try and distance yourself from that and just, do what you want to do and put it out there, and, what will work.
Yeah, exactly. So are you getting some sort of feedback from friends in that regard and of how your podcast's going? Are they all sort of happy with you using them as guinea pigs?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so. I think so. I've had a few, I mentioned my brother and my friend Greg and Scott. They've kind of regularly been on with me. Some old friends that I haven't seen properly for a while, that I used to play football with. I've had a couple of them on and will continue to do so. And I want to make sure I keep doing that, once a week, because it's enjoyable to come on and chat with your friends and do that. And it gives us, what I'm about is hanging out with my friends, watching the football. So that's what I really do, on a weekly basis. So having that part of it is really important to me, and continuing to do that. I'll always continue to do that. Really, I don't care how big this gets. If it ever gets that big, I'll still continue to have my friends on. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah, it's difficult as well at the moment because of the situation. You can't actually go to football matches. You can't go to rugby matches. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's pretty difficult at the moment. Obviously, hopefully, it's going to start easing slightly, and we can start getting back to some sort of normality. But what you're doing is actually giving people an insight into what's happening without them having to sort of think, oh, it's on Sky, I can't watch it, or it's on whatever, I can't, BBC Sport or BT Sport or whatever, you can they can delve into yours, because I am presuming that you do mainstream football as well as the little leagues, if you like.
Yeah, we talk about the Premier League, the Scottish League, anything that really comes up on a weekly basis of football that is worth a mention. We try and just talk about it and put our own spin on it. And obviously, I've had the coaching background. My brother has the coaching background, and all the people that I get on are real proper football fans that watch every game or still play to this day. So it's quite the feedback I've got is from people. It's quite nice just to hear some regular guys talking about it rather than the Sky Sports kind of professionalised environment, which has been pretty cool. Yeah,
rather than like your Linekers and Chris Camara and things like that. It's nice. It's like it's like you're it's like you've got local voices. Yours are local people, so it's like the local voices speaking about it. Your sort of bedroom pundits, if you like, having a banter about it and, going on about, speaking about what's happening in the world of football, rather than, personally for me, this is just my opinion, it's nothing to do with the radio station, but my opinion is, I'm sure half of them get paid by certain teams to speak about them constantly because they're always on about them.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel it. That's how I feel it is, because I've watched a few of them, And that's how it feels to me, that they're sort of paid by like Liverpool or something to speak about them all the time.
Yeah.
You're
not far wrong. It's just, when you're part of a big company like that, I think that's the cool thing that podcasts have been able to do, is just to have regular people, have regular conversations without the kind of, like you just said, the connections or the friends, connections to clubs. It just gives a different feel to things. And obviously, there's a lot of podcasts that are blowing up, particularly Open Goal. I'm not too sure if you've heard about that. That's got really big. Cy Ferry and Kevin Kyle and Andy Halliday. They do their own one, and it's really good. And they're all in football, but they talk as if they don't have any connections, which has been really interesting. So if anyone hasn't listened to that and you're a football fan, you could definitely go. It's a really good listen.
But personally, listen to yours instead.
Yeah, well, that would be fantastic if they could tune into mine instead. That would be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully, one day I'll be on the same level as those guys, but we'll see. You never know.
I will never forget that you come from Gullen.
Exactly, that's the most important thing. Always remember where you come from, and Gullen's a good place to come from, a good background. So,
exactly. Good. So, going straight back to where we kicked off with your California trip? How did you actually get into that? How did that happen?
Yeah, great question. So I was just volunteering at North Berwick along the road, just helping out with the kids, kind of doing some volunteering coaching. And I just loved it. And at the time I was working on a golf course and I wasn't enjoying that. And my cousin, who I mentioned, who I worked for, for his kind of company, he had been out in the States for a few years at that point. And landed in California and was kind of settling in California. So through him, I got to go out and live with him for 3 months from September to Christmas time in 2012.
Right.
So I spent 3 months shadowing him, volunteering and helping out where I could at the club that he was at. And fortunately, before I came back at Christmas, I got asked by the club. They said, look, we would love to give you a team or two. Would you want to come back after Christmas and work for us? And I said, absolutely. Didn't think about it twice. Came home, spent 3 weeks here at Christmas. packed my stuff up and off I went to live in California.
Wow, what an amazing story. The thing is, though, it's something that you may never have got the opportunity to do ever again. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, massively, massively. It's it's an experience that I think anyone should do. But certainly, if you're wanting to be a coach, to go and experience another culture, another way of living. See how another country coaches football. It's just good to get lots of different opinions, and different ways of doing things.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So you worked in a golf club. Did you actually take golf up, or are you like me? You're just like, nah, that's not for me.
Nah. I was extremely fortunate. I got a job at Muirfield.
All right.
Which everyone was telling me, oh my God, you have a job at Muirfield. That's amazing. And looking back now, the whole time I was like, I have no interest in golf. Like, I don't really want to do this. But it was a good job to get leaving high school because I didn't want to go to uni.
Yeah.
So I did that for a couple of years, but it just wasn't for me. I
work at the other end of Gullin. I work at the other end. I work in Gullin Golf Club, and folk are like,
right, okay.
Wow, you work in Gullin Golf Club? It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Am I meant to be impressed?
Yeah, I know. I was I'm the same as you. I just golf wasn't. All my friends play golf. I respect it. I've got way more into it recently, actually. But it wasn't something that I was into at the time. I was just like, this isn't for me. I knew it wasn't going to be long term.
Yeah. Well, at least you got yourself a job. That's the main thing, and you managed to save up and go out to California and live a dream, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely could say that. Certainly was. Don't regret a second of it. I've taken a lot from it, and just living in California, where I was in San Jose outside San Francisco. So,
right.
You have the whole tech thing there with Facebook and Apple, and that's where all that is there. And it's a really cool, interesting place. And if anyone can get a chance to go visit San Francisco and stuff, you definitely need to go. It's an incredible city.
Yeah, I definitely want to go to San Francisco because I want to go to the Bay, and I also want to go to Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah. I've been there a few times. Every time someone came out to visit, I went there. So I've been about 10 times.
That is somewhere I always wanted to go. I don't know why. It's just one of these things that I just want to go there.
Yeah. I would say definitely take it off your bucket list. It's really, really cool. The tour around there is amazing. You get like a wee kind of headset and you walk around, and it's very cool. That was a great experience.
Definitely something I have to do. Anyway, anything else you want to tell us before we disappear?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'd like to say, thank you to you for having me on. I just reached out and thought I'd give it a go and, try and get my name out there a little bit. So definitely. I appreciate that. If everyone that listens to this could just tune into it, check out Canon Conversations. If they like it, tell people about it, share it, subscribe to it. And I just wanted to say thanks to my mum and dad for putting up with me and my brother, moving back home after 8 years. I'm sure that's been enjoyable for them in the last year. And just shout out to the kind of Parky Star group that I'm all friends with. All my friends I've been with them back. They've been really supportive. So thank you. Oh,
it's good to have friends that support you 100%. And obviously your parents are going to support you whatever you do. But when your friends support you 100%, they've got your back. It does make a big, big difference in your life when you've got friends like that.
Huge difference. The people you surround yourself make a big difference. So I'm happy I'm happy I'm back here around all those guys. It's nice.
Definitely. And once COVID's over, I will actually get you into the studio with me one day.
100%. Count me in for that.
If you're up for that.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
It's just with the COVID restrictions, obviously can't have people in the studio when you're on air or that, but as soon as everything goes back to as normal as possible, I'll get you in and we can spend 3 hours having a chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I could talk all day. So, absolutely, I'm 100% in for that.
That's not a bad thing. Right, so you want to hang on the line, and I'll speak to you in a second. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play Oasis. I'm going to play Oasis and Wonderwall. Don't ask me why.
Great choice of song.
Don't ask me why, but I thought you actually might like it.
That's definitely a song I do like. Yeah.
So I'm going to play this, and I'm going to come to you, and we'll have a wee chat off here for a second. All right.
Yeah, cool. No worries. Thanks again, Liz. I appreciate it.
Not at all. Thank you so much indeed. I'll speak to you in a second.
Thanks.